Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting the local community. We have shed light on injustices, and we've allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, this is something you see yourself supporting. Well, we ask that you join the cause. Make sure that you are actively following and are subscribed to all of our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this live program is being streamed on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. We could be found under Frankie Olivo. We encourage you to follow our personal page on Face. We could be found under Olivo Frankie. But more importantly, if you haven't already, create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. Remember, I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for food. You want us to continue to provide you with the latest information that is happening within our area? We'll gladly do so. All we ask in return is something that won't cost you a dime. Essentially, we want you to be invested. We want you to be a part of the cause. Now, you may ask, why do you keep on asking us? Why do you keep mentioning for us to subscribe? Well, there may be a time where you may not find me on Facebook. As of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, the constituents, the people, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. So if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable, you know what to do. Make sure that you are subscribed to all of our social media platforms. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday religiously. So make sure that you are following us on YouTube. We could be found under Frankie Olivo TV. We will not be silenced. And always remember, Cameron County, we are forever grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that you always provide us. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. If you aren't aware, we are in the midst of early voting. Yesterday, Tuesday, was the start of early voting. For today's program, ladies and gentlemen, I want to focus on the numbers. At the end of the day, we are a data-driven platform. We pride ourselves in giving you a different perspective. Now, I want to warn you beforehand. I'm not here to bash. I'm not here to be negative. I'm trying to be real. And the case that I'm going to make today is one that we hope is not taken in a bad way. At the end of the day, we hope that this serves as constructive criticism. Remember, I myself live in a glass house. How can I talk smack about people and then me get my feelings hurt, get my panties in a bunch when somebody talks crap about me? That's not fair, right? At the end of the day, for every rock that I throw, 10 are coming my way. I've learned to accept it. That is my life. That is my reality. I'm okay with that. The hope of today's program is to bring to light what has been happening and what has been transpiring in the background. And ultimately, what this division, what this drama has led to is to yesterday's numbers. Now, before we start, one day of early voting is not an indicator of the overall picture. By no means. What I want to convey, not just to the Cameron County GOP party, but possibly to Texans throughout the state, that if we don't move, if we don't focus, the GOP will lose the House. They will lose numbers. They will lose the general election in November. Now, this is something that is, I don't want to say known, because usually the way it works is whenever a political party wins the White House, they have a tough time winning the midterm elections. That's just the way it goes. This political cycle is a yo-yo. You win, you lose, you win. We've been hearing from Washington that these elections are very important, because if the Democrats control, President Trump for the next 2 years will face impeachment. Any and all legislation in which he has passed, in which he hopes to fulfill, nothing will come of it. These elections are very, very important. And it's hard for us to understand what happens at the national level. We need to focus solely on what happens here locally to hope that this, in some sort of way, grows legs, grows feet, and is able to transcend throughout different counties within the Rio Grande Valley, but hopefully throughout the state of Texas. I was having a conversation yesterday with a good friend, and he said, Frankie, you focus solely on local races. You need to expand your reach. You need to grow. You're not going to grow by focusing on local. You need to broaden your web. And while I do understand that, and I do understand the importance of us talking about everything that's happening, lately we've been focused on the local races because this is what's happening. And for today's program, ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna be what's the saying? You reap what you sow. If you work hard for something, eventually it's going to pay off. We can use that analogy in regards to school, work, possibly our personal relationships, whether that's with a loved one or with friends. What we are going to talk about today is something that is very troubling. We titled today's program, Division over Drive. The Cameron County Republican Party chair criticized as early voting numbers lag. And that is how we will start today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in, Brownsville. Well, Cameron County. But first, a word from our sponsor.
I've dedicated my life to public service, but now I see a county that's ready for change. It's time to bring accountability, transparency, and efficiency to how your tax dollars are managed. We can lower taxes and make government work smarter for you. I'm Jonathan Gracia, and I humbly ask for your vote for Cameron County Treasurer, so together we can build a better future.
What we're going to talk about today might possibly irk people. We feel as if constructive criticism is something that is so desperately needed. And I understand we're human, right? We don't like for people to talk about us, to say anything bad about us, to question us. We like for people to praise us, to give us our flowers, to say how great we are. Possibly we live in a fantasy world where it's all kumbaya and butterflies and rainbows and we can do no harm and everything that we're doing is great and beautiful and lovely and I choose to live in reality. I welcome criticism, and every leader should be strong-minded that they're able to accept whenever somebody wants to build them up. Whenever we talk about individuals that are running for public office, we think about leaders. They want to take this leadership role to guide whatever government entity, whatever position they're running for. And for today's program, I'm going to be talking about the Cameron County Republican Party. Because it seems as if the focus isn't to motivate, isn't to energize, is to grow. It seems as if the party is solely focused on being divisive, on tearing things down. It's my way or the highway. It shouldn't be that way. We understand that we have our preferences, we have our candidates, we have our beliefs, but at the end of the day, the one thing that should supersede or be of utmost importance is the party. Questions, ladies and gentlemen, questions are mounting around the Cameron County Republican Party leadership, particularly its current chair and their administration. Some local activists are arguing that the focus has shifted away from motivating, energizing voters. Instead, they have solely focused on attacking fellow Republicans, fellow candidates. Why? Instead of investing in grassroots movements, grassroots outreach, voter registration drives, community engagement in order to boost up the voter turnout, detractors say, you know what, there's too much internal disputes and conflicts that have taken center stage. Early voting numbers in Cameron County appear to reflect a lack of enthusiasm. What ultimately this does is it reinforces concerns that the party's message and mobilization efforts are not resonating with the wider electorate, with the people. For many supporters, the path to stronger results lies not in intra-party criticism, but unifying the base and prioritizing strategies that motivate voters to show up to the polls. Again, before I start, I'm not here to bash no one. I'm not here to belittle people. My role is to motivate, to encourage, to make sure that we are doing the job of growing the party. Whenever we saw, and again, this is just day one, people. I don't want you to say, oh, well, you are a horrible person because using 1 day's worth of data to complain. We understand that yesterday being the first day of early voting is not an indicator of the big picture of the next, 10 days of early voting. By no means. But what this shows is that maybe the GOP isn't doing a good job. You see, Whenever President Trump won Cameron County or whenever President Trump won the Rio Grande Valley, you know who was taking credit for it? The local party. And they said, because of us, you know, we're the reason why Trump turned Cameron County red. And I was criticized for saying, no, yes, the party had some input, but it was hard to make a case for the Democratic Party to continue in the White House. And they took credit because of us. Okay. So because of you, the whole country turned red. Again, I don't want to minimize people's role, and people are saying, you see, because of you, you're divisive, you're negative. People don't like that. I want to be real with the people. I think people appreciate that. Well, some. Others live in La La Land. So now, what I'm about to say, because again, according to Minerva Simpson and Deborah Bell, it is because of them that President Trump won Cameron County. Okay. So if the party leadership is going to take credit for something that was going to happen either way, fine, I'll give you that. But now, what are we going to say about the low voter turnout? A community member says they made more of what it was. Le echaron mucha crema a los tacos. Whenever we see yesterday's results, could this be something forthcoming for the general election? Now look, ladies and gentlemen, what is happening at the national level? What we have been seeing at the national level, ladies and gentlemen, is that there has been a shift in the Republican Party, in the Republican voter. There is no doubt that the Republican Party in recent years has been making grounds on the Hispanic Latino voter. We have seen how people have been swayed little by little from blue to red in our area. Why? There's many reasons why President Biden's administration failed in many aspects. The quality of life. Everything was expensive. It was hard for people to encourage other people to vote for Kamala. I'm not making things up. You remember the price of gas, the price to rent a home, condo, an apartment. Everything was expensive. But now, what are we seeing today? Today, we are seeing that people are upset, mainly because of the ICE raids. If we talk about it here locally and throughout the country, what we have seen since President Trump took office last year, they have been hitting restaurants, construction sites, nail salons, and asking for documentation, deporting people. And many people have criticized that and said that is inhumane. That is not fair. We need to treat people with dignity, with respect. That is leading to Hispanic, Latino Republicans to be disenfranchised with the Republican Party. Again, look what we saw yesterday. According to Cameron County data, day one, February 17th, Tuesday, This is the Democrat primary elections turnout for day one. If we look at the bottom, again, we have all these different locations throughout Cameron County in which the voter, you, the people, could vote in early voting. 2,600 people came out to vote for the Democrats on day one. Look how much came out for the Republican Party. 900. Now, again, one day does not generally cement this as saying, you see? No, we want to make it clear. This is just one day. We still have 9 more to go. But when we talk about and when we focus on 4 years ago, the numbers have increased. If we look at the data from both Democrat and Republican voters back in March 2022, we see that the first day of early voting between blue and red was around 1,800 voters. Yesterday, we got double that. What does that show us? That the Democrats are coming out to vote. And there's many reasons why. People are alluding to the fact that we have a Cameron County judge contested race. If you haven't been following, it's a good race. It's a juicy one. It keeps me up at night. Not sure if you've been following. People are interested. People want to go out and vote for different reasons. Maybe it's the Ken Paxton race. Maybe it's the Attorney General race. Maybe it's the Ken Paxton, Cornyn, Hunt Senate race. Insiders are saying, no, Frankie, the reason why people are coming out to vote is because of the Cameron County judge race here locally. Possibly, but what do we see from party leadership? And I know, this isn't the popular thing to say, and I know my GOP friends may not like what I'm about to say. I have been very open and upfront of my feelings for Jared Hakama. I think very highly of the man. What I have seen personally these past 10, 12 years has been that he runs a tight ship. He's got a well-oiled machine. You see, Jared Hakama understands that it's not what he wants, what he believes. To Jared Hakama, it's all about the party. We have seen how he has gone to each and every candidate rollout. He's present. He's takes pictures with them. Why is that important? Because it shows that, you know what? You are running for a position within the Democratic Party. I am here to show face. My presence shows that I support you. Now, that might not be Jared Hakama's preferred candidate, but by his presence there is very, very telling. And I've used the example of his relationship with Sylvia Garza Perez, a local powerhouse. Everyone within the political circles knows that Jared Hakama and Sylvia Garza Perez are friendly. They're friends. Sylvia Garza Perez is facing a challenge by current BISD board member Denise Garza, who is challenging Sylvia Garza Perez for the county clerk's position, even though Jared Hakama has a friendship with Sylvia Garza Perez. He still showed up to Denise Garza's rollout, campaign announcement, campaign party. To me, that says a lot about the man. To me, it says party before self. What have we seen from the GOP side? Deborah Bell, for whatever reason, is a total opposite. Deborah Bell picks and chooses where and who she wants to go with. You see, Deborah Bell picks sides. Deborah and Susan have been focusing wholeheartedly on bashing Mayra Flores. I'm not just saying this just to say, but many insiders are projecting Mayra Flores to win the GOP primary without a runoff. Deborah Bell, instead of putting party over self, is involved in drama, unnecessary drama within the party. Jared Hakama, we will never see that from him. Now, again, I'm not saying that Jared Hakama is perfect. No person, no party, no candidate is perfect. But when do we see Jared Hakama stir up the pot and create drama? Muppet says, hey, Minerva Simpson calls other members rhinos, transplant candidates. Lorraine De Leon, you're not Republican enough, Lorraine. Is that how we anticipate? It's like somebody told me, you're not going to catch, or what? You catch bees with honey, or what's that saying? How do these women want to grow the party when they're not welcoming? You go shake their hand and they're already calling you out. Hey, que rollo, que pedo, no sé qué. You're not a Republican. Go over there. Hey, you're not worthy. Okay, hello. A nice welcome to the Republican Party. Welcome to the meeting would suffice. You see, these women are taking things personal. Oh my God, Frankie's talking about me, so I hate him. Hey, gentlemen, this is politics. You see, people have called me the worst of the worst. I still go up to them. I still shake their hand. I still exchange pleasantries with them. To me, it's politics. These women get their panties in a bunch of, oh my God, Frankie said something about me. Oh my God, he said that I'm a horrible person. Well, yeah, if you're not welcoming these people into your party, what do you expect them to do? To take it? Shame, shame. Bend down, bend over. Let me hit you. Shame. Look at this person. She's evil. She's the worst. Really? My goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, according to a fellow, I don't want to put more light into this, but according to a person, a candidate, she filed she wants to file charges against Deborah Bell, against Jonathan Campos, against a Christian, Alvarado, some idiot. Whoever's paying Christian, oh my goodness. I would do it for a six-pack and a bag of Funyuns. That kid is an idiot. I'll say it to his face. Mauro, are you paying the guy? Bro, I'll do it for a six-pack of Dr. Pepper, bro. My goodness. I don't know who's more dumb, Christian or the people paying him. Good God Almighty. So now the Republican Party, now their focus is not on growing the party, but attacking fellow candidates, to where a candidate herself had to file charges. She had to send a letter saying, I'm going to sue you. I'm not making this up, ladies and gentlemen. Instead of the party chair, Deborah Bell, focusing on let's go out to vote, let's motivate people, welcome to my party, welcome to our party, they're bashing their very own candidate because they're not aligned with that person. Are you stupid? Now, oh my God, she called me stupid. That's me being nice. I have a lot more words that I can say, but I'm trying to keep it PG. Ladies and gentlemen, the GOP party is so fragmented. It's so divided. You have Minerva Simpson over there. You have Deborah Bell and Susan for the Corrupt. You have Tad and Roman. You have this and this. Nobody's going to blink. Nobody's willing to say, hey, let bygones be bygones. Shake my hand. Let's work together. That's what a leader does. So what do we expect? Salinas, you said something that caught my attention, Salinas. Andan de metiches even in non-party city races. He's talking about Deborah Bell and Susan for the Corrupt, how they used the GOP money to fund Democrats. Oh, my goodness. No, it's not this one, Salinas. Where are you, Salinas? Where are you, Salinas? You said something that really caught my attention. Here you go. This. People usually vote with their wallets, but the Cameron County GOP is on the verge of losing any game because they continue to ignore la raza. Look what he has to say. They need to spend more time in Lower County instead of the Northern County, more time in the barrios, less time in the country club in Harlingen. Diversification needed at those meetings needs to be looked at like the Valley. Salinas makes a great point because the GOP, and I'll say it, I don't give up, is catering to the white folk. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hispanic community in Cameron County is begging for the GOP party to welcome them, is wanting that hand. Come here. You are one of us. Come here. But you know what these people are doing? They're just focusing on Harlingen. They're just focusing on the white people. Ladies and gentlemen, if you aren't aware, the Republican Party right now is in a disarray, not just here locally, but at the national level. Why? Because of ICE. People are heavily criticizing President Trump. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I get that a lot. But people are already done with President Trump. He has 2 years and he's done. People are saying sayonara, vato, because of everything that is happening. And these people do not recognize that if we do not do something, based on what Salinas is saying, we're going to lose the House. We're going to lose the general election. Why? Because of things that are happening here locally. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean to sound like a racist, but if Jim wins the Cameron County chair position, the party's not going to grow. You think Jim is going to go into the barrio? You think he's going to go to Cameron Park, La 421, La Muralla? You think he's going to go to La Feria, to San Benny, and talk to the Mexican Hispanic voters and say, I understand what is going on. I want to focus on uniting the people. Jim does not get out of Harlingen. He's in his own little world at the country club. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't believe me, look at these numbers. I get criticized a lot, but I work on data. Look at these numbers, people, for the Republican Party. 900, pobrecitos, 900. How much did Jared Hockema pump out? 2,600, papá. ¿Qué más quieres? ¿Te quiso un huevo? ¿Qué rollo? Ladies and gentlemen, I say this with all due respect. If Jim wins the GOP chair, the party's not going to grow. the party's going to be stagnant. The party's going to be favorable mainly to the white folk. I shouldn't say this. Pero pues ya que chingado, pues ya que. I shouldn't say this, but here comes the but in a forum that Jim and Miss Lorraine had, Susan for the Corrupt asked Jim, are you racist? You know what this idiot said? Jim, are you racist, Jim? Oh well, I like tacos. I think they're good. Oh my goodness, who's advising this man? I'm not making this up. You may think that I'm lying, ladies and gentlemen, but good God Almighty, you can't make this up. You can't make it up. How do we expect for a party to grow whenever our current leadership is divisive, is dividing, is attacking? Their whole time they've been focusing on bashing Mayra Flores. Mayra Flores is going to win without a runoff, ladies and gentlemen. This whole time focusing on bashing Jonathan Campos' candidate. They're not growing the party. They're not motivating. Their focus on is me, que se freguen todos. Let's burn it all down. Really? Is that what we need? Is that what we expect from our leadership? Ladies and gentlemen, I try to be real, and I don't like to sugarcoat things, and I know it gets me in a lot of trouble. But I hope you appreciate, because here at Good Morning Brownsville, we like to say it the way it is. This current leadership is not what is needed for the party today, tomorrow, or moving forward. If you vote for this man, Jim, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. Deborah Bell, Susan for the Corrupt are going to continue to pull their shenanigans. I want Jim to answer this question. What? And I should have asked this question when I had a chance to. Now that I think of it, what are his plans for growing the party? What is his plans for the outreach towards the Hispanic Latino voter? Is Jim going to go into the hood in Harlingen? Is Jim going to go into the hood in Laguna Vista? Hey, the hood is rough, vato. If you haven't gone into the hood, it's best you don't go. But you know what? We need somebody that's willing to do that. Could Jim have a conversation with the Hispano? Could Jim motivate the Hispano to say, hey, we need you. You are one of us. We understand that this ICE is inhumane and we need better protocol. At the end of the day, you know, there is law and order that we need to abide by. Can he make that connection with the people? Ladies and gentlemen, he doesn't get out of Harlingen. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Cameron County is not Harlingen. Cameron County is Brownsville, Los Fresnos, San Benny, Laguna, PI, Isla del Padre, Harlingen, La Feria, Santa Rosa, Santa Maria. Is Jim, and this is a serious question, is Jim able to connect with the raza? It's a fair question. who I think could do that? Miss Lorraine. She has come on this program and she said, my intentions are to grow. My intentions is to support each and every candidate. Lorraine does not want to, what did Muppet say? Lorraine does not want to turn people off of you want to entice Democrats. You want to say, look how good we have it. Be a part of our team, Democrats. But no, this current leadership doesn't care. This current leadership is so worried about bashing the candidates themselves. And then they claiming, everyone claims that I'm being the divider in the party. They've been doing this for years. Now what they don't like is that somebody has the balls to call them out on their crap. Nobody listens to Minerva. Nobody listens to Deborah. Nobody listens to Susan. You want to know who they listen to? You have a choice, my people. If you want to continue with this crap, if you want to continue in this mud, vote for Jim. Vote for them. What has the party done? When Deborah Bell announced her resignation or she's no longer going to seek the position, Susan for the Corrupt said, oh my goodness, these past year and a half we've made so much ground. And what the hell did they do? Nothing. They regressed. They've kicked people out. They haven't grown. They haven't won. Ladies and gentlemen, what Deborah and Susan will be forever known for within the Republican Party is that they gave Republican money, donor money to Democrats. And nobody said anything about it. You know who did? And I was bashed for it. I'm the bad guy. I'm okay with being the bad person, ladies and gentlemen. I don't mind. Because to me, I seek the truth. You can talk crap about me. You can say this and this, that and that. At the end of the day, the truth hurts. The truth makes people uncomfortable. You see, nobody before me was willing to call them out. And now they're scared. Now they're worried. Now they're trying to spin it. No. This ends now. I understand one day of early voting does not give us the full picture. I understand that. And I agree with that. But based on my experience following the party for the past 2 years, what have we been seeing? Nothing positive, all negative, not encouraging, motivating people within Cameron County to run for these positions. They have to resort to giving money to the Democrats. Here, win a race. Oh my God, you won a race. They couldn't even get the woman from Los Fresnos elected. Somebody said, look, they only help Democrats win elections. Que vergüenza. That's embarrassing. That's very embarrassing. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a person. And look, again, to Jim, to Deborah, to Susan, to Minerva, this is politics. I know you get your feelings in a bunch. I know you get your panties in a bunch and you get emotional. Oh my God, you're evil. You're negative. I'm willing to extend my hand. I have yet to be offered any role within the party. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not I'm easy to please. I'm proud to say that our platform, that our message is resonating with thousands of voters within Cameron County, be them red, be them blue, be them I independent. People listen, and we are forever grateful for that. We have a great team behind us, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine what we can do. Imagine what we can do if we say, hey, Frankie, man, let's unite. I'm not going to charge the party. I want the party to grow. But no, Frankie's the bad person. Frankie's evil. Don't listen to Frankie. The truth hurts. What's going to happen when Mayra Flores wins without a runoff? Are we going to see the party unite? Are we going to see them letting bygones be bygones? Are we? I voted for Lorraine. I'm not just saying this because she's here. I'm not saying it because she was on our program. I say it because I believe in her message. She herself has seen how this party turned its back on her. You think she wants to replicate that? You think she wants to do the same if and when she's in office? No. She's going to help each and every candidate. She's going to go into the hood. She's going to go into Cameron Park. She's going to go into the barrios. She's going to have a grassroots outreach campaign. Her goal is to grow. Her goal is to unite. And I hope if and when she's elected, she's able to reach out to Minerva. She's able to reach out to Susan and Deborah. She's able to reach out to Tad and Roman. Sit everyone at the table and say, nobody's leaving until we all agree to grow together. Ladies and gentlemen, those people that I mentioned are so talented. And I say that with all sincerity. Those individuals, Minerva, Deborah, Susan, Tad, Roman, they're crazy as heck. But each of them has a certain skill and are gifted. But by themselves, they're not as great. Now imagine if we join forces, boom, 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 and come together. Imagine the magic that this party could make. Imagine the growth that this new leadership could show. You know what my goal is? And I say this with all due respect. With all due respect. I want Jared Hakama to be eating our lunch. I want him to say, good God Almighty, they have a good thing going. Let me go see what, man, I want him to stress. Right now, he's not stressing. You think Jared Hakama is sitting on his butt? You think he's attacking candidates? Jared Hakama is working his butt off. He's eating our lunch. I want to turn that. I want him to be like, geez, they're good. I want him to feel our presence. I want him to be looking over his shoulder and be like, ahí vienen. They're making ground. I hear them. We got to pick it up. We got to pick it up. But that won't change with Jim, unfortunately. And Jim, nothing personal, my brother. Nothing personal. I just feel within my heart that you are not the right person for this position. And I say that with all due respect. Because I don't think Jim could lead us into that next level. I wholeheartedly believe that Jim will not go into the hood. So what do we do? What can we do? It's very simple, my people. If you're voting in the GOP primary and you are satisfied with the current status of this party, vote for it. If you want to be stuck in the mud, if you want this party to be divisive, not to grow, not to find candidates, to keep on endorsing the Democratic Party, vote for Jim. But if you want change, if you want somebody that is wholeheartedly going to invest her time in supporting candidates, in growing the party, in motivating, in having a grassroots mindset for the GOP of Cameron County, vote for Lorraine. She will go to the hood. She will go to the barrios. She will be able to connect with those people that are on the fence. I'm not saying this because I dislike Jim. I dislike Susan. I dislike Deborah. I dislike Minerva. By no means. I really don't. Hey, gentlemen, for those that don't know me, I'm a weird cat. I'm wired different. You could call me things to my face, to call me names, I'm still going to say hi to you. I'm not going to avoid you. I will shake your hand. I will sit down with you. I'll break bread with you. I'll meet with you. If you want to work together, let's work together. But are these people willing to do the same? Because from what I understand, it's their way or the highway. If you're satisfied with Deborah's leadership, vote for Jim. This party hasn't grown. This party will be stagnant for years to come. You have an opportunity to change that. You, with your vote, have the ability to say, hey, we need to fix this. Let's get off our butts. Let's roll up our sleeves and let's get to work. And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to all of our social media platforms. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Franco Levo TV. Best believe we'll come on Monday through Friday. All I ask of my community is something very simple, something that won't cost you a dime. Make sure that you are subscribed to all of our social media platforms, but more importantly, make sure that you are subscribed to YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and your attention. Go vote! Please. My name is Franco Levo, and this is Good Morning Brazil. Peace! Hmm.